So this here is my fake Arcteryx jacket. I don't have anything against this. I think it's a good product for what I paid, and I've already compared it to my real jacket to look at the differences. You can check out that video, and also tested the waterproofness of this jacket. And I would say it's waterproof, and the fabric of this is waterproof. But the last thing I was curious about, is this jacket breathable? Does the fabric of it actually let out moisture as well? So compare this to a normal rubber rain jacket, like a traditional one. Both this Arcteryx jacket, or at least the real one, and the rubber one will protect you from the elements, from water and wind. But with this Gore-Tex, which is like a brand name for the fabric that is like a membrane, this Gore-Tex fabric is supposed to be letting moisture out of your jacket. And why do you want that? It's because if you are like walking up a mountain and such, you're building up body heat and moisture from sweat under your jacket, and after some time that collects over time, and you would almost start to like get wet from the inside out on your jacket. And the same if it's raining, you maybe are protected from the outer elements, but after some time just so much heat and moisture builds up that can't escape from your, because you're like trapped in this rubber coat. But with this here, membrane is supposed to protect you from the outer elements like wind and rain, but also let moisture through it the other way. So I wanted to test the breathability of this jacket compared to my real Arcteryx jacket. So I see a lot of people get confused with the DVR coating on these jackets. The DVR coating will wear away after some time, especially now since the DVR coatings are made out of like more biodegradable solutions. With the Chinese fake jackets, maybe even the DVR can be better because they are not following any like environmental rules, which is, yeah, it's not really good. But of course the product maybe perform better, but that DVR coating then also maybe can escape into your body as well and your local environment. Yeah, there's a trade-off and positive with everything in this world, but yeah, you understand my point there. But the DVR coating will make the water bead off. So this is not what's making this jacket waterproof, but it will keep water from like going down to the actual top layer of the fabric. But if you are like out walking for a long duration of time, eventually like the top layer of the garment will wet out. And when the top garment is wetted out, it's not longer acting as a membrane. Then it's acting like a normal rubber jacket. It still is waterproof and windproof, but it won't let the moisture out of it. So the better the DVR coating, the longer you will have the breathability in rain. Without the DVR coating, the top layer will wet out and the breathability aspect of it disappears. But even if the DVR coating is fully gone from wear over time and such, you still have this kind of membrane and like built up in this fabric. So it will keep you dry and windproof, and it will also breathe as long as the top layer is not like soaked in water. But now over to the actual testing that I did. So how did I do this test? I don't have any like fancy equipment, but you have your standard glass of water here. I put that on a weight. And as I guess most people know, water will evaporate over time, especially in dry conditions when like the atmosphere or the air around it is of dry air, and like this evaporation will really depend on like the overall moisture level in the air of the room, the temperature, and the greatest contributor is actually the surface factor here. So I just use this kind of glasses which have a really small surface, as you can see here, so the evaporation here takes a long time. So this test here is not accurate or perfect by any means, but I use the same glass for all of these jackets, and also started it at the same time. All of them were like measured individually. So overall, I think we somewhat get a result or idea of actual how the jackets performed compared to each other. So this is how the testing looked like. Very simple. We have one glass for each jacket, and I also just put some plastic wrapping around the cups to make for a better seal, so all of the moisture have to go through the jackets. And then we have an open cup to see how much it will evaporate if there's nothing to hinder the evaporation. And then we also have another cup that is fully covered with plastic, just act as more of a control, or you could also say it's the same as a rubber jacket would have performed, not letting anything through. So here are the results after 48 hours. The glass that was not covered by anything, 16 grams of water had evaporated after 48 hours. On the real jacket covering the glass, 4 grams of water had evaporated, and with the fake one only 2 grams of water had evaporated after 48 hours, and with the covered glass no water had evaporated. So what can we see with these results? I guess your body heat and sweat and moisture will evaporate much faster than if you are covering yourself with even a real jacket, but I don't think that is a surprise to anybody. And of course this testing here is very inaccurate, and but I guess it will somewhat give an indication of the performance. If I were to test this for a longer time, it would also probably make it for give me better readbacks and such. But we can see, comparing the real Arcteryx jacket to the fake one, the real one is like evaporating the water in the double rate of the fake one. But surprisingly, even the fake one is letting some moisture through it, which to me shows that they have actually used some kind of Gore-Tex material. Of course, Gore-Tex is just a brand name, but you have a lot of other manufacturers making the same kind of garment with the same kind of membrane properties of the fabric. So yeah, I think that is nice that the fake one will let some evaporation go through it, but it's also not as good as the real one. So my next test would be interesting to actually test the fake one against a 3-layer jacket at almost like the same price point, to see how they perform compared to each other, because now we are like comparing the cheapest 3-layer jacket to one of the best ones, which I guess is not entirely fair. But overall, it seems like the fake Arcteryx jacket is waterproof, and also the fabric will let some moisture through it. The only issue is that maybe some of the seams are not all perfectly done, like on the real jacket, so maybe you will have some smaller leakages. But overall, I'm very happy with this jacket here. It works as like my day-to-day jacket going back and forth to school. And then I can keep my real Arcteryx jacket for the expedition stuff.